that one particular lady you spoke to in Leeds, that she was paying over £1,000 a month for 3 days. I suppose a burning question for me would be, do you think the government are not doing enough? Why nursery jackpot's important? We're a prize draw competition where you can play to win a whole year's free childcare.
Parents and carers are still really struggling to find a job that's going to be able to pay the nursery fees, but then be able to enable them to have a life. Really disheartening, like what you said, you know, if you've been to uni and you've like got your heart set on a career and then you're not actually able to get any experience and go work in the field that you wanted to work in because of nursery fees. I mean, that's horrific.
No one is doing this for the early years sector. Universal Credit pays 85% of childcare. That's fine, not many people know that you can claim.
And not everybody's actually entitled to
But you've
that.
got to qualify.
Yeah, I know that we've had like rises in the minimum wage. However,
and the cost of living. Yeah.
However, because the cost of living continues to rise, and unfortunately, like the minimum wage doesn't follow that.
What they found was the nursery prices are so expensive, they decided that they just didn't want to go to work and they wanted to be more present in their children's lives.
But if you win,
you're getting a phone call and we're going to be like, hey!
And he gets paid directly to that nursery. And I think it is a wonderful, wonderful idea. Hello and welcome to the Nursery Jackpot podcast, where we talk about everything all childcare related. And today, joining me, I've got two very special guests, Miss Tara.
Hello.
And Miss Nicola.
Hi.
Hello, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
So we hit the streets in, where did we go? Nottingham
The first time.
Leeds, and we did Lincoln, I believe.
Yes, Lincolnshire.
Yeah, Lincolnshire. Talking to parents really about the cost of living, childcare, how big the nursery bills were, why nursery jackpot's important, and we're a prize draw competition where you can play to win a whole year's free childcare and getting our name out there and getting our brand recognised because it is such a great scheme. What was the feedback from those days of being in the cities and talking to parents? Did they really like the nursery jackpot idea, or?
A lot of people, the first time we went out, absolutely was amazed by it, and there was like, I can't believe somebody hasn't thought of this sooner. It's putting a bit more fun back into the nursery sector as well. But for the parents, not only parents, there were grandparents, family members who had children who were in nursery, and as supporting parents with children, their children and their grandchildren, paying for nursery fees. They had some of the parents couldn't afford to send their children to nursery. You had different. There was parents that didn't have supportive family, who were on their own, who they just couldn't find that with 15 hours, it just was never enough for them to go work a full-time job or a part-time job. They didn't have anybody to look after their kids further than the 15 hours. And then to pay anything more than 15 hours, what they found was the nursery prices are so expensive, they decided that they just didn't want to go to work and they wanted to be more present in their children's lives because it was just too costly.
So people were just using the funded hours that the government give.
Yeah.
I'm a nursery owner, so we give either 15 or 30 hours, or we do like a stretched offer, which is like 12 or 24 hours. But if I worked 7:30 till 5:30 and I needed those 50 hours, having just a proportion of that free, I've then got to find the top-up money. And I thought from what we saw, what we posted on our socials, were that one particular lady you spoke to in Leeds, that she was paying over £1,000 a month for 3 days. Yeah. I think we had a lot of questions on that came back. Like, people were like, well, where's this? Is this London? This is so expensive. And I think what I took from that was actually all nurseries charge something different. And I think this has been a real eye-opener for people on our socials in particular, that everybody works out the funding different.
And because the settings
and the prices are different. Yeah.
Which is unfair, really. I mean, I think a lot of the themes from people when I was speaking to them, firstly, is that they'd not heard of us.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what nursery jackpot was, and they was like quite surprised that was something that was out there, and they weren't even aware of it. I think the second theme was definitely that people were not sending their children to nursery anymore because it was just too expensive. Yeah. I know that we've had like rises in the minimum wage. However,
the cost of living, yeah.
However, because the cost of living continues to rise, and unfortunately, like the minimum wage doesn't follow that.
Yeah.
We are still, like, parents and carers are still really struggling to find a job that's going to be able to pay the nursery fees, but then be able to enable them to have a life. I mean, that particular lady, when we were speaking to her, she just said, what is like self-care? What is looking after myself? Because
And that's
I
such a
can't do that.
shame.
Like, she works hard. She works in the job centre, supporting people to like go out there and get jobs, having to go home and know that she's working to potentially just pay nursery fees. Like, what kind of life is that? And she could throw the towel in, like lots of people do, and just say, I'm not actually going to work then, because how can I look after myself and my children? You can't really pour from an empty cup, can you? So if you don't do that self-care, which people are not able to do, then how are you meant to be able to look after your children and be a good mum and be your best self? Yeah.
I think it is a massive crisis, isn't it? Because, I mean, speaking from as a nursery owner, we talk about kind of the living wage and things, you know, people are just not getting paid enough, are they, for their outgoings? Everything's, the food costs have gone up, everything's
the
gone up.
funding's not going up as fast
but
as the cost of living.
isn't going up. So I think when I started my nursery like 10 years ago, I think the hourly rate we got was something like £4.44 for a child. Now, if we charge as a nursery, and this is different, isn't it, in all different parts of the UK, but I think if at the time it was, say, I don't know, £5.05 an hour, give or take, there's already a shortfall for nurseries. So how are you supposed to make the ends meet? You know, and you've still got your rent, your mortgage, your wages to pay, your heating bills. You've got to feed the children. You've got to do activities. So where is this money coming from? So I think that funding rate now in Lincolnshire, where my nursery is, I think it's gone up to about £5.50 in 10 years. You know, we're talking £1.
That's crazy.
So how the nurseries, there is a lot of nurseries that are closing, and I think why we came up with the idea of Nursery Jackpot was really to kind of just put the fun back in to this
for the
sector.
parents,
For
and
the
not only the
parents.
parents, the settings to keep them alive. Like,
exactly.
if the money's still going into these nurseries, there's still going to be nurseries for parents to send their children to. If nurseries can't run, then how do people go out and work?
I know.
Yeah, they've got to be there for them to...
Exactly. And when we do want nurseries, as well as childminders, because it's that family preference as to whether you do want a childminder or whether you do want a nursery. And when we're seeing a sharp decrease in childminders registering with Ofsted, you know, we get there's data out there, you can just Google it, and there's not as many people signing up to this sector. And why is that? So I think Nursery Jackpot being able to pay that money directly to a nursery is a win-win for them.
That's amazing, because you pay it, don't you? The whole year directly to that setting.
Just in one go.
Yes,
and
one lump sum.
that is just breathtaking.
The respite that you
weight
get,
off of your shoulders to not have to worry about paying that bill. I mean, I've got my grandson. He gets 15 hours through his mum, and then we topped that up. So then 15 hours gave him 3 half days. So then we topped it
So
up
what
to
are the
full
hours
days.
that you get like free during that?
So
is it
he
like
gets
7:30 till a certain
one
time?
while 6, 3
1 while
days a
6.
week.
Right.
So then anything other than that, when you're having a full day, then that costs that little bit more. On top of the extra hours. So what we was paying 580 something pounds and 12 pence, something like that.
On top
I
of the
don't remember
15
the exact yes, on top of the 15 hours. So
and what does that cover?
that
just so everybody,
covers, an extra. So
you
you get
food
15,
costs, won't it?
15 hours. That's your half day. We paid that a month so that he could have a full day. So 3 full days instead of 3 half days. Included in that is obviously your essentials, nappies, wipes, and then the food that they eat. Obviously, that doesn't come for free, does it?
Well, actually, just so everybody is aware, that actually the government funding that is given to nurseries does not cover food costs. So you have to be able to charge that as a nursery or offer a packed lunch service.
I found that at every nursery, to be fair. I did a lot of research into what nursery we wanted to, with my daughter, what nursery we wanted to send him to, and the prices were all different, but not massively. And I guess whether it was a really good nursery compared to one that didn't have such a good Ofsted mark, the prices were still more or less the same, and they were all charging the same, and I think that's just to be able to keep themselves alive. I mean, if nurseries started closing down in your area, it then makes it more difficult for you to find a nursery that's closer. That makes it less convenient for you. I need the nursery that's like near my doorstep.
Close to you, yeah.
So
But also, don't you think it's, as my children are, nearly 18 and 15, so, but I remember why I chose my nursery. It wasn't just about the Ofsted rating and stuff, but it was convenience, so close proximity.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted my children to be able to play with the children that they were going to transition to go to school with.
Yeah.
That was really important for me. So if there's a nursery opposite, I don't know, a school, it closes down, then going further afield is not always, I don't live near those children.
It's not always the worst thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a nursery closer to our house and closer to my daughter, but she takes him further out.
Yeah.
Now, it's not solely, like you say, on the Ofsted reviews. It's when you go there, you want to know what it feels like.
Yeah,
does it feel nice? Has it got a warm feel? Has it got a
Yeah.
cold feel? Or does it look daunting? Is it like a dungeon? Is it bright? Is it lit up? Is there lots of toys? Like, there's all these different factors that are a big
teaching
thing.
and learning.
Yeah.
Do you think you would pay more for a nursery place
absolutely.
if you had a better feel for
Yeah.
it? You don't think that the cost is really that important? I mean, the feedback that we got from being on the streets, I just love saying that, being on the streets, talking to people,
Well,
getting
we
out
were
there.
on the streets.
Yeah,
We was, and we got to hear the real depth of what it
It's
is.
a national crisis, this,
Yeah.
isn't it, really,
Yeah.
to be honest? I think people are paying an extortionate amount, but they've got to, because otherwise you can't go to work, can
I
you?
had one lady we spoke to, and she'd gone to university, got a degree, looking for work on a career path, and she just decided because how much it costs to put a child into nursery, she decided to not even go to work and just be present in a child's life.
Yeah, and not everybody can do that, can
Yeah,
they? You know.
I mean, like that must be. I don't know what support she was getting, or whether she had money to afford to do that. But that must be, after going through all of that and going to university, and so that you can have a career, and then nursery and fees being a factor in not pursuing
What you
your
really wanna
career
do,
and what you really
your
want to do
dream.
in your life.
Yeah.
It must be so like dampening, like that. It's such a downer.
I think you said that, didn't you? The people that you spoke to.
A lot of
in
them
Leeds
said
City
the same,
Centre,
didn't they?
Mums and dads not
Yeah.
going out and doing what they want to do or what they've been trained to
Which
do.
is really disheartening, like what you said, if you've been to uni and you've like got your heart set on a career, and then you're not actually able to get any experience and go work in the field that you wanted to work in because of nursery fees. I mean, that's horrific, because if you think of all the money that you spend to go to university,
I know.
to get that degree,
Yeah.
and then you're not actually able
All the
to...
hours you've sat there studying,
Yeah.
like, you've put blood and sweat into pursuing something that you really, really want to do, and then at the end of it you can't, because, wow, I
It's
can't
hard.
send my child to nursery. On top of that, maybe that woman doesn't have grandparents like my daughter does who can support and pay for extra hours, or go pick up grandson and drop grandson off, and she has to do everything herself. Like, how is she supposed to do that?
I think that's a really good point, because where my nursery is based, it's in a military population. So when you're, say, in the middle of Lincolnshire, but you're from Scotland,
Yeah.
who are you going to call upon? Like, you can't call on your aunt or your uncle to come and pick them up from school, or,
So they solely rely on your setting or another setting to be able
and
to...
each other.
Yeah.
There's some like, kind of neighbour roles, babysitting and all of that. Or sometimes they ask the staff on a night time, can you babysit for us? Because we just want to go out on a date.
Yeah, and then
And
that
we have
is
no
even
one,
scary in
so-
itself, isn't it?
And that's not a lot to ask, is it?
No.
You're working hard,
Yeah.
but you can't even go on a date.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
I
to
mean,
ask
yeah.
your nursery staff
Yeah.
to babysit you.
And this is a known thing, and over the last 10 years I've seen that a lot. I mean, even going to military balls, which is a real big thing. You've climbed the ranks and you want to go out and you want to celebrate with your partner, and you
even afford
can't
a
actually
dress.
go because
Or
you haven't
because
got anybody in that
It's
area.
either pay that invoice or...
Yeah. or
Buy
not be
myself a
able to
nice
afford to
dress.
go out. Yeah. I think if we're stopping our career paths, or if we can actually do something that we want to go out, self-care, anything like that for mums and dads. If you're a single person, how do people actually manage
I think
to
a
make
lot
ends
more
meet?
people would go to work as well. People that don't work, that obviously qualify for these hours and stuff. I think a lot more people would go to work if the government did fund the nurseries. And
At the correct rate.
yeah,
Correct, yeah.
At the correct rate.
then it would just be so much better for everyone all around.
So just going back to Tara, when you were interviewing this lady in Leeds, really nice lady actually. You
She
said
was
she
lovely.
works at the job centre.
Yeah.
Really good. The feedback from there, one particular question, one lady says, I'm paying £1,600 a month for 3 days. And I think I think we've got like about, well, it's 33.8 thousand views on this video that we've got. And this one person said £1,600 for 3 days. Another person said, it's over £1,000 for me. Another one, over £1,000. I pay £315 for almost a 2-year-old to go 7 till 6, 3 days a week. Both of us work full time. It's just madness.
Yeah.
Another lady had put on there saying,
Was that the one where she said she only pays?
Universal Credit pays 85% of childcare. And this was one that really resonated with me because I thought, okay, that's fine. Not many people know that you can claim some costs back.
And not everybody's actually entitled
But
to
you've got
that.
to qualify.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, isn't it? If you are in, I don't know, I've heard this over the years that they have one child and they have qualified, or they've split up with a partner and then qualified, and then they've got married again to somebody else and then not qualified, or they've put a claim in and it wasn't accepted, but then they had a second child and then they were accepted. And I think all of these rules, how would you know whether you're qualified or not to have that paid for? Great if you can get 85% paid for on top of your funding, but that's not for everybody, is it?
But can I just say as well, if you qualify for that, I don't know the exact ins and outs, so correct me if I'm wrong here.
It's different for
But you've got to be only earning a certain amount of money. So then actually 85% of that is paid, but you've still got to find that 15%. And I can talk about my sister here because she works really hard. She's a single parent. She works part-time. They do pay 85%, but she's still paying a lot of her wage to pay the other 15%. So it might sound like a lot, but in reality, when you've got a part-time wage that isn't that great, actually you're still paying a big chunk of your wage to that nursery.
And it feels like you're going in circles.
Yeah.
But also you've got your rent to pay.
You've
got all other bills, clothing the children, Christmas is coming up, food,
parties, children's birthday parties, cost so much
electricity
money.
that's gone through the roof.
For instance,
the list is endless.
To what you said about your sister, my daughter, she worked part-time, but she was working too many part-time hours to qualify for that 85%.
Oh yeah, because you're right, you can only work up to so much. Is it 16 hours? Is it still 16 hours? I don't know,
But
I might be getting this wrong, but...
would only let her work those, she couldn't reduce them. So not every job you go into is going to accommodate the right set of part-time hours.
Yeah.
That is going to make you qualify for this funding.
Yeah, especially the timings, because like you said, for your grandson, it's 1 till 6, but you can't walk up to an employer and be like, oh, hi, I want a job here, but I'll just work 3 days and I just want to work from
1 till 6.
You can't even work 1 till 6, so don't forget you've got to get to the nursery and back, so actually you can only work 1/2 till maybe 5.
Yeah.
Because
pretty please.
Yeah.
Well,
is that all right?
On the days I do nursery run, I'm lucky if I get to the gym and back in that time.
Yeah.
And get a bit of shopping. I mean, back to like nurseries, you can't find a nursery who could also do, oh, I've got a job and I work 10 while 4. Can you have my child 10 while 4? Well, no, because then you're going to have to pay for a full day and not you can't use your 15 hours through only part of the day. You either had the morning or you had the afternoon.
And that's set by the nursery, isn't it? Because my nursery, we offer 9 until 3. And the reason why I did that
brilliant.
was, well, we did that. Not everybody is as accommodating as that, and I understand. I mean, some down the road from me do it from 7:30 till it runs
for
out.
some people.
I thought it was the wisest thing to do, because if you had a sibling at school and you can work around school hours. So for us in particular, some people don't want to do that, and it is down to the nursery on when they offer that funding. It's called the funding offer. So it's, you know, they have to kind of let parents know this is when you can access your free hours. My particular nursery, we do 9 till 3, which I think is much better for parents.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that. It's so different throughout the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
Not
mean,
one
some
nursery does it the
don't
same.
let you use the 15 hours through end of term. So when you school holidays, it's only term time.
Yes.
And
what do you do when there's 13 weeks off? So unless you're a school teacher, how is that of any benefit to anybody to do that, unless you had a massive support network?
Not many employers will offer like term
time only.
Like,
no.
So then you're stuck to either relying on family or having to pay massive amounts of nursery fees. I mean, my children are 21 and 15, and I can honestly still remember the day they left nursery and me having a little mini celebration thinking, no more nursery fees.
No more
It was like, so, I mean, obviously we went into the world of like after school club payments and things, but
that comes
nowhere
down, doesn't
near,
it?
nowhere near the nursery fees. And I can still remember it to this day, just thinking, wow, that is a massive weight off my chest. I don't have to pay that anymore. So that'll be what the winners will feel, you know. I don't have to pay that anymore because Nursery Jackpot have paid it for me.
Yeah, you're not the first
Amazing.
person to say that. I do get parents who leave who have looked after the children for kind of 5 years, and then they go to school in reception and they seem so giddy, so little to be able to go.
They look
just
so
see as though they're
cute,
just not ready to go.
They look so
and the
cute.
parents are just like, thank God for that. No more huge fees. You know, it's
Like
massive.
some of the winners already, like you can see how overwhelmed they have been.
I did one in
winning.
Horncastle a few weeks back now, and I saw him. We did this kind of fair at RAF Coningsby. It's like a family's day, and they paid. We had like this special payment link, and they paid £2.50, and they won 500 quid. And she was like, "Well, it's his birthday soon, and then Christmas is coming up, and they'd just come back off holiday." And she was like so overwhelmed that she'd won anything. She was like, "I've never won anything in my life, let alone to get
Does that
something."
feel good for you to kind of give that to these families?
I just really love this project.
Yeah.
I mean, why I decided to do this was because I was just so fed up with this funding.
Yeah.
And it's so
I've seen it for 10
rewarding.
years. So for me to do something, I mean, prize draws are massive at the minute, aren't they? You can win a big, fabulous house. Now, me in particularly, I'd be thinking, that's great, I've won this massive house, but who's going to pay electricity because I've got no spare money?
Who's going to clean it?
Or a car, but then I'm thinking, well, my car insurance is 3 times it was like years ago. So these schemes are really brilliant, but I needed something that was kind of resonated with families. And, you know, I have been a single parent, so I have struggled. And I've had a child with autism. So, you know, we've had 5 schools. So, and I've had to do a lot on my own. So I kind of knew how that would feel, is paying like a rent payment or a mortgage payment for your nursery fees, or just the ups and downs of life, really. And I thought, why not, if we could just create this pot where everybody had a little play, and if they won something back, it's great for a parent to win.
Yeah.
It's great because it goes directly to a nursery. And
Something
I get to
that's
deliver
meaningful.
that news. It's almost like it's like refreshing the early years. I think that's what I started.
But also, like the children, if your parents are happy,
Yeah,
your children
absolutely.
are happy, and then your home's happy, and there's so much around like emotional well-being and things like that.
Yeah.
And actually, if you're relieving the parents of a bit of financial stress, that will cascade down to the children, and they will feel happier, because you know you cannot hide from your, as much as parents you want
can't
to
hide
hide
from
You
your
can't.
emotions.
reality
Yeah.
from your children, and you want to kind of wrap them in bubble wrap, and you want them to make everything, you know, think that everything's perfect. But obviously life is tough sometimes, and the parents are there in the background just trying to make all the cogs
Juggling.
turn, make sure they're happy, they've got like the latest trainers and whatever they want, like you're going on holidays, they're having parties. but they can see when you are feeling that pressure, no matter how much you try and hide it. So for like to get that relief of not having to pay those child fees monthly, that will make the whole home a lot happier, because everyone will feel that ease of stress, won't they?
Yeah.
I think everybody gets really pressurised as well coming up to Christmas, don't they? Because they want to buy the latest things. And I just think if you won, well, the first prize is like up to 15,000. So if you won that and you were normally paying, I don't know, well over £1,000 a month, there's this lady
What would
we
you
saw
do
in the,
with £1,000?
I mean, you could go out on a day out, couldn't you? For sure.
You could take your kids to seaside. You could take them to arcades. You could take them swimming. You could take them to play crazy golf. Like all these things that like it opens the doors for saving money that you could use.
I mean, that lady said something about a passport, didn't she?
Yeah.
That she just wants a passport to go on holiday with.
Yeah. And because even passport, even like getting a child's first passport, that can be expensive. And if you're paying those fees, that might be something that you're putting on hold, but then you're putting the experiences for the family on hold. So that means you guys can't go on holiday because you haven't even got your passport yet. But even paying for the holiday, if she got those childcare costs paid for, she could book a holiday.
I noticed a negative impact that the expense to send your child to nursery has on the younger mums that we spoke to.
Right.
Like a lot of the girls that we spoke to, I think it was in Nottingham when we went there, a lot of the girls just was like, oh, I wish I could send my kid to nursery, it's just so expensive. Like, I want to go to work, but I just can't, no, I can't find a job. I can't find, like, where am I supposed to get this money from?
And did they look a bit disheartened? Because that's what I saw from the younger ones.
The younger ones seemed to struggle with the fact of it more than...
And it can't be any good for their mental health either, or the child.
No,
in nursery settings, we have a thing called the
anywhere.
Ofsted, like kind of look for during inspection. It's a thing called cultural capital. So it's kind of like, if you take a child as like an holistic approach, what have they been subjected to? So, you know, you might have one child with, 2.4 family that go skiing every single year, they pay the school fees, and that child's been all over the world. And then you've got somebody here who's not been anywhere,
struggling to
never
get the
been in a nursery setting. Now, these two children have now got to go into reception together. One's going to be pretty much here. How are we closing this gap? And so being able to, I don't know, have those social skills really in nursery as well, which is super important.
They need to find something to bridge a gap to make it better.
But also a bit of like self-belief that you are worth being a mum or a dad and having a good career and having a good life and aspiring to do nice things. Because like you, when I spoke to the younger ones, they were just like, oh, well, she just does the 3 hours, so I don't really pay anything. And I said, well, is there something that you kind of want to be doing? Like, do you not want
I love that guy who does that podcast where he goes, what's your dream? But somebody, we've all got dreams or aspirations, surely.
But it is kind of dampening that, because they're feeling like, well, maybe I shouldn't have dreams because I
and
can
they're
only
giving
get
up
15
on their
hours.
dreams.
Yeah, so that's it.
So I won't have a dream.
Yeah, they've got no, and they feel like they've got no ambition and no motivation to, because it's just every step forward is 10 steps back.
And we all need aspirations and dreams, and we all need to be pushing ourselves to do better and be better, especially if we're parents, because our children are watching us.
I think from one girl I spoke to when we were in either Nottingham or Lincolnshire, one of the two, and she'd said something about that she just wanted to have some savings for a child, even if it was just... Did you get that as well? Just put the money to one side.
Yeah.
There was one lady who she wanted to take her grandchild.
Yes, I saw that.
A daughter to see her grandparents
in Jamaica.
She'd never met them, so she wanted to get a passport and take her on holiday just to meet family members.
To meet your own. I mean, really, seriously, we're really, that's their aspiration, is to go and see our own family member, because we just don't. Gone are the days where you grew up down the road from your mum and your mum did the childcare and that. We've just evolved so much, haven't we, that everybody lives in different places.
Well, my sister lives in Australia, and honestly, she's really sad at the fact, because my mum's retired now, so my mum would help with the children. She's just had a baby, and she pays like ridiculous amount
in Australia.
In Australia,
And is it a vast difference then to the UK system?
I think it's quite similar in terms of like the expense of it, but she just doesn't have the family help.
Yeah.
Because she would just, she would not. yeah, she struggles over there, bless her, with the not having the extra people to help.
If she had all you sisters there, it was so
Yeah,
much easier.
So much easier for her.
Yeah.
And she's got 3 children. The twins are in school now, so that's a bit easy, but she just had a baby. And yeah, she's delaying going back to work. She's a teacher. So she's even thinking about delaying going back to work so as to not to have to pay
And all these factors add to not being able to enjoy and your family life and your children.
Wishing those times away to get to school.
Yeah.
And these are the
and
best
they're
times.
the best moments.
Yeah.
When they're only young ones. My kids are flashed before my eyes.
You
My
know, like
daughter's nearly
going to
22.
nativity
My
plays, and
son's-
things like this, or your little certificates that you come home with. You know, what kind of... Do you think then, I suppose a burning question for me would be, do you think the government are not doing enough?
The government need to do way more.
Yeah.
They need to be putting money into things that are going to benefit people, that are actually... there's such a knock-on effect. If children, people are not having careers, they're not working, so that's more unemployed people. If children are not getting to... so you can have one child who's got a big family and one child who's got no family whatsoever, but both can't go to nursery. But that child's socialised, this child's not socialised. Like, there's the fact that it's expensive, it has a massive effect on people's mental health, the way that people converse with each other. There's people, like, you might be sat in a room full of other mums and they're all really well-to-do and got really good careers and can afford the nursery payments, and you're sat there not saying a word, thinking, oh my gosh, and wanting the ground to swallow you up because you can't even afford to send your child.
Yeah.
And can I just say on the back of that, it just brought me back to when I worked in primary schools.
Oh, yeah.
And you get the children, so people are delaying sending the children to nursery, or they're not sending them to nursery at all because of the fees. But when those children get to school, they've not got the social skills that the other children that have been to like either nursery or childminders, that some of them are not like potty trained.
Yeah.
Some of them don't have like the
communication
skills. And it's really sad to see actually, because if nurseries were more accessible and they weren't as expensive, then I think more parents would send the children there.
Definitely.
And then when they're all starting school, they're all on a level playing field. Like, there's so much disparity between like the children who have been in...
Well, actually, the statistics say that if you've been to a nursery, they do far better in that transition.
My grandson, we felt like he was behind with his speech.
Yeah.
2 months into nursery, they'd
done a referral.
Wow.
Oh, it just came on naturally on his own.
Where has all this speech come from?
Yeah.
Now, kids learn off other kids.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
Although we've got a big family, although we're supporting my daughter, he's the only baby in the family.
Yeah.
So he hasn't got any other, he hasn't got no siblings, no cousins. Like, there's nobody else got a baby.
That's really interesting because I read something once. I was talking to somebody once about when the child is the only one in the house, the adults do the talking for them.
Yeah. And they're sat in adult conversation constantly.
Exactly. So of course, going to nursery with the same age, they're going to come back and say a lot more because they've got
he
that time
came
to
on
talk.
leaps and bounds, and in only a short space of time. The words, his sentences, everything. He wants to go to the toilet because he's seen everybody else doing it, and it's monkey see, monkey do. They copy each other.
And I think that's right. When you worked at primary schools, Tara, and you're seeing if a child's not been to nursery and he's not going to the toilet, and then you say, Nicola, that actually you saw that in your grandson, that actually he's asking to do that now because everybody's doing it. It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, back in the days when there were no nurseries and you all sat around with your cousins and your sisters and your brothers, and I just feel so sorry for those people that would have never been able to not have any siblings, not have any family.
Don't have that family dynamic anymore. No. We've kind of evolved from that now, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's the most difficult thing. I think going back to what the government are doing, they're trying to have these large pots and distribute it, but are we actually going to see the full effect of that distribution? And that's my worry, is, okay, they're saying that you're going to give all this money, but are families really going to see that with this rising cost of living? The wages are not going up, the bills are going up, everybody's fed up with the UK.
It's like some mums and dads are sat at home. There's some dads that are single parents could be sat there thinking, right, this month I haven't got enough money. What do I do? Do I pay the nursery bill, or do I pay the water bill, or do I pay my rent? Like,
they don't know where to turn.
yeah, there's so many people in crisis right now. Never mind the fact that the nursery sector is not funded enough. There's so much crisis all around.
Have you seen that list of like the saddest places to live?
Oh God, please tell me it's not
I can't remember.
Lincolnshire, is
No,
it?
it's not. But I was thinking about the ones where people were more happy. It'd be really interesting to see what their funding is around the early years sector,
Yeah.
and whether that made a difference. And I think there's probably loads of research to say when the government put enough money into the early years sector, that actually you see a massive difference in the whole society just being happier.
Yeah,
in general.
that'd be really interesting. Let's do that, and then
Yeah,
let's
let's
go
have
to
a
the areas and
Yeah.
ask the questions and
Yeah.
see if there's a
Some
difference.
areas
That
get
is-
more funding than others, and that's
Yes, they do.
unfair. I think it should go. The funding should be the same and go on the population.
I think York is quite high, actually,
Yeah.
compared to Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire, I think, is one of the lowest, unfortunately. But then again, we've got the second most highest expulsion rate in Lincolnshire as well, which really bothers me so much, because we're asking kids to leave mainstream school as young as 5 to go to specialist provision. And in my professional opinion, we don't actually need to do that. These children are then going in private taxis with strange people to go to school, and who are they going to play with when they come home? So, and that's because the behaviour's not quite there. But is there a link between not being able to afford to go to nursery, to those that transition to school and they're not staying in school because they haven't developed that skill set?
Potentially.
That would be really interesting to look at
There
further.
is. I mean, I've heard people's children haven't been ready for school when they've got there. Like when you said when you worked at the primary schools and they've not been potty trained, or they've not.
That is a thing, school
Right.
readiness. That
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
thing that everybody
and
should
that
be
must
looking at.
play a massive part on the child. If the child's that far behind, their emotional well-being is going to be affected by seeing other kids doing so well.
Yeah.
And that could follow him or her through the whole of school.
yeah.
Well, into
Just, yeah.
adulthood, there's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
adults that still
And
struggle
just
because of
having low self-esteem
like
because
childhood experience.
They've never been as good as everybody else in the class. Or
Do you know, that's really interesting, but we kind of looked at this as a nursery setting. COVID. After
Yeah,
COVID,
yeah.
we had a lot of COVID babies because, let's be honest, there weren't very much things to do during
Yeah.
COVID apart from in the
was
good
a
old
rise.
bedroom. So we got this influx of kids, one for a better word, COVID babies, coming to nursery.
when was you born?
Okay, we know your mum and dad had a really good time during COVID. But because they weren't integrated and, shoved with an iPad, there was absolutely zero communication and language. So they come into us and there's absolutely no verbal, nothing at all. And we were like, okay, we've got his work cut out for us here at the nursery.
Yeah.
But that must have a knock-on effect. As
Oh,
you
it
go in
does.
the
There's
transition
lots of
to
definitely.
schools.
so
Must
much
do.
research behind
Yeah.
the actual effect that it does have, absolutely. And you can see, obviously, when children start to get to like age 7 as well, they start comparing themselves to other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's all identity, isn't
Identity
it?
forming.
Feel
Identifying.
like even my grandson now, and when they heard people say mummy, daddy, they all copy off each other. And some children haven't got a daddy, some children haven't got a mummy, but they still say it because they heard the next child say it, and as being so young, just copying words. And yeah,
It must be horrible, that, wouldn't it? Like Mother's Day and Father's Day and stuff. If
when
you
they do stuff at school for it.
yeah, like it must be awful. I think, who would be your ideal person or family to win?
to win. I knew
To
you were going
win.
to. Sorry, but I couldn't even wait
Yeah.
till you finish because you know who I'm going to say. And even all my family have seen that and be like, can that lady win? The
Do you know
lady who's
that-
paying £1,000 a month and wants
know-
the passport.
Yeah.
That's the comments.
I want
That's
her
is
to
the
win.
comments.
Yeah, I want her to win. I absolutely
Like
do.
she
Yeah.
genuinely is
She
doing her
radiated.
utmost.
Yeah.
I think one of the comments on it is, can somebody please
Let
make
her
sure that
win.
this lady
And I was
wins?
literally saying
Yeah.
to myself that night, I really hope that she buys a ticket
Yeah.
or she subscribes and gets a monthly ticket so that she can win, because she definitely deserves it. She just
And she
radiated such positive. You know, she was obviously clearly struggling with
Yeah,
paying
she
these things,
really was,
but she
yeah.
was still radiating like positivity. She was talking a lot of sense. She clearly had a lot of love for her children.
And she was passionate,
and her
wasn't she,
children were
about
happy.
Yeah.
And she was obviously on top of that, helping other people.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a nice
It's just
person.
selfless.
Yeah, because you know,
And
she could easily throw in the towel and think, do you know what? I'm paying most of my wage for my
Yeah.
child to go to nursery, so I'll just sit and I'll just claim benefits actually, because what's the point?
Point.
And
But she's
with
not.
that
She's
benefits
working
money,
hard.
I'll be saving and I'll be able to get my passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how daft it is, really. Isn't
So
Yeah.
yes, if you're listening, can you let her win, please?
it? Yeah. And Nicola, anybody in particular that you've kind of interviewed on the streets that you think, oh God, that really resonated with me, like, or an ideal person or family?
The lady who wanted to let a baby go and meet her grandparents.
Yeah, that was a nice.
Not being able to see your family, and especially, like you say, the younger years is the most, it's the best time. They just grow so fast, they flash before your eyes. And not a family member not being able to be involved in that and being around
It's
them.
part of their identity, like they're forming their identity, aren't they? And if they're not able to meet all parts of their family because, like, of monetary costs, like being able to get there, that's sad.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot
But
of
FaceTime just don't cut it, does it, really? Let's face it.
No, it doesn't. Just being there. Sometimes being there and not saying anything is a massive thing for a child.
It's like a sense of belonging, isn't it,
Yeah.
really, I think? And then, so you ladies obviously work for Nursery
tea?
Jackpot
Yeah, I'm
as
gonna say
well.
tea
Oh
time.
yeah, tea time. Yeah, we'll definitely we'll put that order on. So just tell us a little bit about your roles within Nursery Jackpot then. Kind of, I know you are Yorkshire's leads. Tell us what a typical day looks like when you're talking to not only obviously customers, but you're talking to nurseries, and what do they need to do to get signed up?
It's really, really simple, the sign-up process. As long as they've got Ofsted registered, they just click on the link online, or we do go out to nurseries and put up a plaque outside with a QR code. You just scan the QR code. That's not only for the other people, it's so that people can play and purchase a ticket, subscribe to the scheme. The sign-up process for a nursery takes literally minutes, and it's of no cost to the nursery. And then a nursery being signed up lets other parents be able to play. And the more nurseries that do sign up, the more parents will then know about the scheme and have this great, fantastic opportunity to play and potentially win a full year's, because who wouldn't want a full year's nursery fees paid for them?
So I've got to ask myself, so obviously part of our role is contacting nurseries and kind of just putting it out there, because we are a new scheme, not many people know about us. But what I am finding, if I'm completely honest, is some are saying, sounds absolutely fabulous, sign us up, here's the Ofsted registration. Some are a little bit dubious because they don't know about us, and they're a bit like, oh, is that like, is it real? Can I see your website? I think a lot
Is
of
it
people,
gambling?
We're not sure our families
you get negative
would.
feedback with everything, and we have. Yeah, I've found a lot of that. I mean, some people have just been like, yeah, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Yeah, get us signed up, send us the pack over.
So some nursery settings are a little bit more cautious than
And I'm just
than
wondering
others.
why, because for me, that there's nothing to be cautious about, but I think they are a little bit cautious, and they're saying, oh no, I don't think our families would, it sounds too good to be true. I'm not sure
Do
our
you know what I
families
think
would do
it is? How many, I mean, in particular, if I just put myself back into my nursery and the phone is constantly ringing, do you know how many sales calls we actually get?
And this is what I'm getting.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's horrendous. Can you swap your telephone lines? Do you want this? Do you want that?
Yeah.
And I think some nursery managers are like, I cannot be bothered with this.
Yeah.
Just send me an email. Do you get that?
Yeah.
But then they're not really looking at what I'm finding
Yeah.
is because, and it might be that, so thank you for that actually,
Yeah.
because I don't know what it feels like to be on the
real
receiving end.
insight.
Because I'm just like, I'm trying to tell you something about something
And it's
really
really good. Can you just
and it'd
listen?
be really good for your families. And they're a bit like, well, just send me an email. I'm really busy. I haven't even had lunch today. I've got like staff off sick.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling.
They're
like,
running ragged,
call me back next
basically.
week. But then I'll call them back next week, and they're a bit
that's
like,
because
I've not looked at it.
they're inundated with
they are.
emails to do with parents, to do with children, and they have to do what they prioritise those emails. And unlucky for some,
Yeah.
they'll be at the bottom end of the list. So, and that's what I think maybe we need to go see people in person and actually let them see that we're real life people.
And maybe they'll watch the podcast
Just
and
try
understand
what we're trying
where
to
we're coming
do.
from with this and it's
so
just
we're not a gambler.
benefit
We don't
all
need a
round.
gambling license. We are a prize drawer, and I think that's the great thing about it is no one is doing this for the early years sector. I think if we look at the positives of it, is that yes, we do display that plaque outside with the QR code, and you can subscribe and forget about it, almost like a gym membership.
Yeah.
But if you win,
you're getting a phone call. And we're going to be like, hey.
and he gets paid directly to that nursery. And I think it is a wonderful, wonderful idea. And we've got over 200 and odd nurseries signed up now. So obviously we're doing something right.
You've got things like the National Lottery, you've got Postcode Lottery. I mean, all of them things are great. But this nursery jackpot is very similar, but has so much more meaning to it. And it benefits you so much more.
The families.
Yeah,
and
the
also,
families.
we're supporting, local charities that are also supporting
That's
children
right.
and families, and
A
that's
percentage,
important for
yeah.
people to think, because obviously, people when they're buying tickets, that it's I don't know what are the odds? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the odds are.
Well, I mean, the odds are brilliant at the minute because if you think there is 1.5 million nursery places in the whole of the UK, now if you've got 250 nurseries signed up at 40 places, the odds are pretty high.
And you've
I'm
got
going to
more
say
chance of
good
winning.
maths. I thought you were going to come with a number there. I'm going to say
not
good.
really that good, Tara, to be
maths,
honest. But I'm sure that somebody will be able to put a link here,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Zach,
Yeah.
to put a link
Yeah.
somewhere what the odds are. But the pool is not yet diluted. So
Yeah.
obviously, the more nurseries that we get, the more revenue we get, we'll probably make the odds round about the same. And
There's a prize
and the
draw
way that
every
we'll
month.
do that is
Yeah.
by offering more places. So. On the run up to Christmas, we're not just doing the 3 prizes, we're going to do 6 prizes of like £1,000 or £500 or whatever we're deciding to do. So you'll see that on our socials. So we're off, for me as founder, it's really important that we kind of spread the love and, more
This
people
is the
win.
thing. But also, it's not like spreading the love. It means like people actually seeing the families that are winning. And I think once people start seeing that, actually, this is really benefiting families.
Yeah.
I want a piece of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I could really do with a holiday, or I could really
Just
do with
really
that.
getting it out there so that everybody can see.
And also, I did have this idea, because I'm full of these ideas sometimes. I don't even know where they come from, obviously. My brain is constantly going.
The great ideas.
Exactly,
Yeah,
great
they are.
ideas. And I was thinking, you know how you can't afford to take your children on holiday? Well, why don't we offer an holiday? Like, I don't know. Like,
A
I've never been
surprise.
able to go to Centre Pass because it is so expensive.
Yeah.
Or Lapland. I mean, come on. I
At
would
Christmas.
have loved
All
to
paid
take
for.
'em. All paid for.
Why would you not
That's a
want
good-
to do
that's a
that?
good
I love
idea.
that
Yeah,
because
Lapland.
I mean, obviously, we need to probably
Disneyland.
factor in the passports if people haven't got
Oh, yeah,
passports.
yeah.
But to be
yeah.
able to offer
That's
something
true.
like that you would never, ever, ever,
Be
well, you
able
just
to
don't
do.
have that money,
Yeah.
that surplus income at the end of the month to be able to go and book that holiday. I've never been to Lapland. I would be, maybe I should enter.
I was going to say, I'll buy a ticket for Lapland.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Because, like you say, if you enter a different, like a jackpot or a
Yeah.
different prize draw, and you win in money, you sat there thinking, right, well, should I pay this off with that, or should I do this, or should I do the house, or there's so many other things that you can do. Whereas at least if you're given a holiday,
And it's
you're
already
going on
paid for.
holiday,
You
you're
go
going
in,
to enjoy it.
You're not going to.
And it's
nothing
not
else.
something
Yeah.
that you would want to do yourself, would you? Because
No.
like you said, you pay that
not
bill
gonna
off that's been
second guess.
sat there that you've
Yeah.
been putting off.
Or you do the things in the house that need doing, or you sort your car out. Like me, I've got a big scrape across my car.
If you won a car or you won a house,
Yeah.
you might sell the house because you need to pay for stuff or sell the
But
car
then you pay a
and downsize.
massive tax on that, which
Yeah.
I can't stand. So yeah, that would be really. So I just hate that. Like £1 million house, and then
Just
I'm gonna sell
the
it
fact of winning a holiday and not having to think about booking it, not have to think about paying for it, reading reviews about where you're staying, and somebody just sorted it all out for you. And like your kids have never been on holiday before, you've never had the opportunity to take them.
Well, Lapland is so magical for children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Imagine.
it creates memories
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
it,
I
for the
think-
family.
yeah,
and I
we
think that's what
definitely
we're
need
all
to do
about.
that one.
We need to we'll ask the audience, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll
do, like
ask-
some kind of
ask everyone else
poll or
what they
whatever,
want.
yeah, to see what they want to do.
Yeah, ask everybody what they want. What would you like? If
Actually,
you
we
was-
started to do this. So when we awarding this check for people who have won, we started to ask them, you know, which charity what would be really important for you that we support? And I think getting that feedback has been invaluable, really, because I think when we set out with these kind of prizes and the charities that we're supporting, what was important to me was that we were supporting small charities who didn't get any grant funding.
Yeah, and they're the charities that need
the help.
It.
So
when we went to Lincolnshire,
yeah,
a couple of ladies said we'd love the money to go to this charity, and they were so surprised to hear, because they didn't know and they haven't heard about it. That's one of our charities.
That
already.
was one of our charities. Yeah, she was really blown away by that.
Yeah, she was like,
she?
"That's amazing." Then she's like, "Why don't we know about it?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's getting his name out there, isn't it? I think. And getting them to kind of know. But yeah, I asked the last winners to actually recommend a charity which was important to them. I think one of the girls had said that she is a school teacher and one of her students just died overnight in his sleep, and she did this charity run an event for him, and it was really sad to know that, you know, like, this is like touching everybody's lives, isn't it? You know, like, everybody's
something
got a story
close to someone's heart. That's
I think that's really important.
Really happened, and
Okay. Well, girls, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the Nursery Jackpot podcast.
Yeah,
You're most
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be a part of it. I just can't wait to see what's to come.
Excellent. Thank you. So that's a wrap.
Thank you. Oh my God.